Hey, shalom, shalom, hayawam tawab, which is good day, and knock na wahai bar yashalom, hawalakim la'atam, call shabuai baharacha, wa kaksha, yahu bahasham, yahusha, ma'amath, which is truly, hey, with the Hebrew Israelites coming to you week in and week out through the Spirit and power of Yahweh bahasham, yahusha, to preach to you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, West Indians, Haitians, Israelite foreigners, Cham, Atam, Kaya, Hamalak, Wathashamayim, Korah, repent, gay for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Call Layim La, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahusha, Bahasham, Racha, Kodash, Wamashana, Kabadim Zukoim Nawa, Wamalakim, Shaw, Yashala Zukoim, Racha, Gadwa, Wachasai, Washalawam, Rakim, Laha, Bacharim, Shaha, Kawaya Shah, Shalawam, I saw all praise to the Most High Yahweh, which means he exists, Bahasham, in the name Yahushai delivers double honor to the elders and apostles of Israel, the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, mercy, peace, and blessings to the elect of the nation of Israel. Shalom, which means peace, all right. Ha'ith Shah Pawarium, Amarshana Ha'ith Shah Pawarium, all right, which that is to say, Ha the ith time Shah of Pawarium, which is Purim, all right, the time of the Purim, or the time of Purim, all right, which when we go into the scriptures, it breaks down as the main letters is Pa and Ra, which has a Y in the middle, which that pretty much just goes into a hook joint or add. It could also mean a nail. All right, but that Pa is that means mouth. So I'm actually go to this word. All right, and it reads the word for Purim, Pawarium. It says Purim, lot, peace. All right, Pawar, Hasharash the bar, the root word to break, crush. All right, but that Pa and that goes into the reason why it goes into break or crush. Let me get this word for mouth. Pa. Go to the root word Hasharash the bar. Says break into pieces, cleave into pieces. You know, if you chew something with your mouth, you know, you cleave it into pieces, you shatter it. And also break into pieces, you know, because your mouth also like opens it to two pieces. Then it says has signification of splitting. All right, because your mouth splits. All right, but that's where pretty much where the some of the meaning of the word pa. This is pa'a, or this will be pa'a. So this pretty much where pa comes from, because your mouth cleaves into two pieces. But the meaning of Purim goes into break into pieces. All right, and I wanted to get another one, the word for head, which it essentially just goes into Ra'ash. All right, just going into the head, but it goes into break into pieces, the head, or break into pieces the heads. All right, and what that means is pretty much pursuant to pieces of fruit, you know, because if you look at the word for fruit, look at the word for fruit. So it comes from para, to bear fruit. All right. So same thing with Purim, you know, because in order to, in the ancient world, to get to the seeds, you would split open the fruit. You know, like if you used to open like up like an apple, if you'll cut it down the middle, you know, you'll cleave it into two pieces, break it into two pieces, and you're able to pluck out the seeds. You know, that's essentially why fruits are called paraya or parya. All right, that if in the study of what they call Edenics, all right, when you see fruits with PR, all right, like apricot or pear, you know, those are derivatives of parya or para. All right, those are pretty much derivatives of that, you know, because fruit, everything descends from or mayan halashwan kodash, the holy tongue. All right, just like with plums or prunes, you know, those come from PR as well. So it's a fruit, but again, going into a fruit, you would divide it so you can get to the seeds. So pretty much it's going into lots. You know what lots? A lot. Purim goes into the dividing of lots. a lot or a piece. All right. It says, i.e., a part, a portion whence to divide. It says part lot. All right. So pretty much to divide up into pieces. All right. And I just want to go into that because, again, it is the time of the Purim. Ha'ith Shah Pawarium. All right. So just want to touch on this. Which essentially goes into the time we were in the Persian captivity. All right, and it's pretty much celebrating the events that took place by Asathar in Esther, the book of Esther. And I'm gonna start at verse 9, or I'm gonna start in chapter 9. We can go to verse 13, which this is known as the Feast of Purim. It's another high holy day. All right, it's a lot. All right, so this is Asathar. So Asathar, Esther. This is Esther. Chapter 9 and verse 13, it says, Then said Asathar, if it please the king, let it be granted to the Jews which are in Shawashan to do tomorrow, according unto this day's decree, and let Haman's 10 sons be hanged upon the gallows. And the king commanded it so to be done, and the decree was given at Shawashan, and they hanged Haman's 10 sons, which Haman, he ultimately came up against the Jews that was in that particular area in the Persian captivity. But it says, for the Jews that were in Shawashan gathered themselves together on the 14th day also of the month of Adar, and slew 300 men at Shawashan, but on the prey they laid not their hand. But the other Jews that were in the king's provinces gathered themselves together and stood for their lives, and had rest for their enemies, and slew their foes 70 and 5,000, but they laid not their hands on the prey. Which I want to touch on this point. In verse 13, it says, in Asathar, then said Asathar, if it please the king, let it be granted to the Jews. While that particular king was he was a heathen, Asathar, Esther was still in order. So I want to get this real fast, because through her actions, through the spirit, it pretty much delivered us from being executed, or that decree that came out. This is Mashoya, Proverbs chapter 31 and verse 10. It says, who can find a virtuous woman, for her price is far above rubies. If you compare, the women today, they wouldn't do such things. They're all about themselves, so that's a good example of a virtuous woman. Also in this chapter right here, Proverbs chapter 31, the whole chapter, pretty much touching on a virtuous woman. The scriptures say for the woman to be a helpmeet, All right, but moving on, let's go back. Asathar, this is Esther. It's a lot. Esther 9, and we're back at verse 17. It says, on the 13th day of the month of Adar, on the 14th day of the same rested day, and made it a day of feasting and gladness. But the Jews that were at Shawashan assembled together on the 13th day thereof, and on the 14th day, and on the 14th thereof, and on the 15th day of the same they rested. Started with the 13th and with the 14th, or the 15th. So it's same as how it is now. It says, which is a rehearsal of the righteous acts. It says, and made it a day of feasting and gladness, which is similar to Hanukkah. All right, Hanukkah. It says only Hanukkah is 8 days. It says, therefore the Jews of the villages that dwelt in the unwalled towns made the 14th day of the month Adar a day of gladness and feasting, and a good day, and of sending portions one to another. All right. So going into this right here, portions, because Pawarium goes into lots. All right. Something that's divided, pretty much something that's divvied out. It says part, portion, a division, pretty much, the symbolism. I want to get a scripture real fast. This is Hosea chapter 12 and verse 10. It says, I have also spoken by the prophets, and I have multiplied visions and used similitudes by the ministry of the prophets. All right, so I want to get this word for similitudes. It says dama. It says to be like, resemble, You see, so going back to the story in Esther, All right, that was a resemblance. That was a foreshadowing, because in the scriptures it's filled with similitudes and foreshadowing. All right. Same with how Noah was baptized in the water. All right. That was the foreshadowing of when Yahweh Shah was to come and to baptize with that true water. Just like the various different manifold foreshadowings in the scriptures. All right. So continuing on, this is Asathar, chapter 9, Esther, and we'll get verse 20. It says, and Mordecai wrote, this says the feast of Purim instituted, which I believe that word feast goes into Chag, so that would be Ha-Chag Shah Pawarim. All right, the feast of Purim instituted. So it says, and Mordecai wrote these things and sent letters unto all the Jews that were in the provinces of the king of Ahasuerus, both nigh and far, to establish this among them, that they should keep the 14th day of the month and the 15th day of the same yearly, as the days wherein the Jews rested from their enemies, and the month which was turned unto them from sorrow to joy, and from the morning into a good day, that they should make them days of feasting and joy, and of sending portions one to another, going into the foreshadowing, the similitudes, Dama, all right, Damawath, to resemble. So it says, and the Jews undertook to do as they had begun, and as Mordecai had written unto them. So look, I believe it goes into it's 2 days, but I'll post it inside the description after I'm done with the video. But continuing on, it says, because Haman the son of Hammedatha the Agagite, the enemy of all the Jews, had devised against the Jews to destroy them, and had cast Pawar, that is the lot, to consume them and to destroy them. So he had cast a lot. So it says, but when Asathar came before the king, he commanded by letters that his wicked device which he devised against the Jews should return upon his own head, and that he and his sons would be hanged on the gallows. Wherefore they called these days Pawarim, after the name Pawar. Therefore all the words of this letter and of that which they had seen concerning this matter, and which had come unto them, the Jews ordained and took them, and upon their seed, and upon all such as joined themselves unto them, so as it should not fail, they would keep these 2 days according to their writing, and according to their appointed time every year. So 2 days. So it says, and that these days should be remembered and kept throughout every generation, every family, every province, and every city, and that these days of Pawarim should not fail from among the Jews, nor the memorial of them perish from their seed. Rehearsal of the righteous acts. We can't keep the laws perfectly, but we got to rehearse the righteous acts. This is Shabbopatiyim, Judges chapter 5 and verse 11. It says, they that are delivered from the noise, which we're not in, we're not in our holy land, or we're not in the holy land, so we have to rehearse the righteous acts. It says, they that are delivered from the noise of the archers in the places of drawing water, there they shall rehearse the righteous acts of the Lord, even the righteous acts towards the inhabitants of the villages in Yasha Allah. Then shall the people of the Lord go down to the gates. Now I want to go get this word for rehearse. And it says, Dana. It says to recount, to tell again, recount, to think about it, meditate on it, and actually, perform them, to the best of our ability. It says to praise, to celebrate, we got to observe them. All right. I'm going back. Asathar, chapter 9, and was at verse 28, verse 29. Then Asathar, Hamalakah, the daughter of Abihail, which Hamalakah is the queen, and Mordecai the Jew wrote with all authority to confirm this second letter of Pawarim. He sent the letters unto all the Jews to the 127 provinces of the kingdom of Ahasuerus, with words of peace and truth, to confirm these days of Pawarim and their times appointed according as Mordecai the Jew and Asathar HaMalakah had enjoined them, and as they had decreed for themselves and for their seed, the matters of the fastings in their cry. And the decree of Asathar confirmed these matters of Purim, and it was written in the book, you see. So ultimately going into the deliverance from a royal death decree, the lot that Haman the Agagite had pretty much did, which was, again, this was in the Persian captivities. But I want to get a couple precepts. This is Yeshaya, Isaiah chapter 59 and verse 1, because we understand that like we're not in our land, but that doesn't mean that the Lord can't deliver us from these different circumstances, like in Esau's kingdom, if he writes something in paper, he means business, but we answer to a higher power, so the Lord always comes through it for those that are in the correct spirit. We've seen that in Yahweh Dayath, Judith chapter 5, verses 16 to 21. This is Yeshaya, Isaiah chapter 59 and verse 1. It says, "Behold, the Lord's hand is not shortened that it cannot save, neither his ear heavy that it cannot hear." The Lord sees everything. He hears everything. All right. But this is pretty much the point, that the Lord can deliver us from whatever type of situation that we've seen various accounts of this in the scriptures. All right. Let's get another one. This is second Isaiah, also Esdras chapter 15. Let's get verse 6. All right, and it reads, it says, "For wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the whole earth," which I'm applying this to now, because we're in another captivity. All right, the scriptures call Egypt the house of bondage. All right, so we're in the worst captivity right now, you see. So it says, "For wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. Therefore saith the Lord, I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness, which they profanely commit. Neither will I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, the innocent and righteous blood crieth unto me, and the souls of the just complain continually." All right, because pretty much, the hell that we're catching in this place. All right, pursuant to Yahazak Allah, Ezekiel chapter 9, all right, verses 4 to 6, pretty much complaining about how this place, the wickedness of this place, pretty much being oppressed on every side. So it says, "And therefore saith the Lord, I will surely avenge them and receive unto me all the innocent blood from among them. Behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter. I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Matazarium, Egypt. But I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm, and smite Egypt, Matazarium, with plagues as before, and will destroy all the land thereof." And this just proves that the Lord hears, because in every captivity, the Lord has always delivered, and this one is no different. All right, but just pretty much the point that I wanted to get was, just want to go into Purim, and then just pretty much rehearsing the righteous acts and just recounting and reflecting on this time in the scriptures. So I don't want to Zabanaya Pa, Lord's will, that was a beautiful edification through the Spirit. Water on to Adam Yash, you want to Wabe, Lord's will, you all have a good day. I call Layim La Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shah, Bahasham Chahakodash. A double honor to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that taught me this truth and rule well, and much respect to you bros out there pushing this truth with all righteousness and sincerity. Shalom, shalom. Wa Yahweh Mahar, La Bachayar, may God speak to the elect. Shalom, shalom.